Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue and I am back for another Ready to Love review, y'all. This was part 1 to the reunion. Ciao. Let's go ahead and get into my notes. We gonna get to it, y'all. We are definitely gonna talk about Denise. All right, so first comes first, Alicia. Alicia is pregnant. She went home, got pregnant by somebody. Maybe got pregnant before she left. Who knows? Nobody told us who the pappy was, okay? We talked about Brian and him being a master bullshit artist. We're well aware. We were here during the season. Alicia wishes that he would have kept it 100 with her because you know that he tried to play her like a soybean burger where he was supposed to go back to the room with her and told her he was going to come back, but instead went to Alexis's room and made out with her and then never rejoined Alicia. So she felt some type of way about that. Honestly, I feel as if she took it a little bit too hard, but now looking back on it, I feel like there probably been a lot of things that happened that were cut out, meaning relationships were definitely being formed and we just were unaware. So for us, it's like, why are you this upset? But when the cameras aren't around, some of you dudes are talking mad shit. Like y'all are being hella romantic with the mouthpiece, but then only showcasing that same action with the girls you want to be known as your counterpart on the show. So it's messy. But Alicia says that, you know, he's not a bad guy and they wish each other the best. He admits that he should have been more honest with Alicia. You think? You should have been more honest as a person, and that's something you need to work on, like for real. Then the focus shifts to Alexis, and he definitely should have been more honest with Alexis. But then he blamed her and said that the reason why he wasn't receptive when she was trying to communicate with him is that she wasn't being that open. It's like, well, that's exactly what I was doing when you decided to make a joke instead of actually listening to what I was saying. And it's because you wanted to keep shit surface level. Then she puts it out there that allegedly he may have a child on the way. He says it's fake news, but to me it sounds like you just don't believe that the child is yours, but you was definitely messing with somebody who's saying that they pregnant for you. That's what it sounded like. But Alexis actually seemed hella sour and bitter by bringing it up. Like the way she threw it out there, I just kind of felt like it was more so trying to show how much of a hoe he is than anything. And I'm like, just get it off your chest, sis. Don't sit up here and smile and act like everything is cool if you really bothered, because you seem more bothered than you want to show, as far as I'm concerned. But go on, Alexis, girl. Then we revisit Simone being messy. Y'all know when she went up to Jay and Joy and said she saw Jay creeping into Winter's room half naked. I mean, we already know she was being messy. They were coming from the pool, bitch. This is also a situation where everyone is dating. So even if he did, so what? And then we get into the backstory. Apparently Simone was feeling some type of way because Jay was interacting with her way more off camera than we saw. Apparently, like, there were a whole bunch of times when he was actually being sweet and romantical with her, and then he tried to play her dust later on in front of Joy and Winter. And I think Winter felt the same way, where they were having all of these deep conversations and she was dragging her feet to his room several times a night. You know, 1 a.m. she going to his room, 3 a.m. she coming back. You know, several different times we saw her dragging them damn feet to go and see him. And I was just like, oh, so y'all was... I'm sorry, but to me it looked like y'all was... I know you're gonna try to pretend as if y'all was just talking and getting to know each other, but Winter and Jay, I don't believe that. I also don't believe that Joy wasn't bothered while all of this was being talked about. Simone, I don't know what type of medication she on, but she needs to regulate. She needs to regulate. She went from trying to put everybody on blast for how Jay was able to pretend that he was really only into Joy and Winter the whole time when, you know, he was obviously flirting and having, you know, a little side situation with her. And then the amount of times that Winter was going back and forth to his room, you could tell Joy didn't know any of that. All right. But either way, Simone gets up because she never wanted to make Joy feel some type of way with everything that she's going through. And then she runs off and then she comes back. Can I give you a hug? I just want to give you a hug. Girl, what you going through? What you going through? Are you shading her or are you supporting her? Which one is it? She even called Joy and Winter sister wives at some point, and I was just like, see, bitch, this feels way more shady than supportive. Is it just me? This feels way more shady than supportive. Joy was like, somebody gonna need to give her an award after this is said and done. I said for sure, because she is taking us on a tour de France, okay? She is taking us on an emotional roller coaster with the shade, Black Women United, I'm shading you again, now I'm crying, give me a hug. Like, she doing a lot. I definitely think Simone was trying to like stir up shit between Joy and Winter because she was feeling some type of way about the way Jay was playing her like a soybean burger bitch. For sure. Period. David. Okay, we get the country boy David. All right. He feels that he didn't get a chance to fully explain himself about his situation with Alicia. Y'all remember they had that conversation and he was like, oh, you know, I don't think I should have to pay for everything with your child. Like, those are your kids. And that turned Alicia off because she has 2 small kids. Why would I want to get in a relationship with a man that is not going to love them as his own? So he pretended as if he was misunderstood. I think he meant exactly what he was saying at the time. Okay, nobody is expecting you out of the gate to take financial responsibility for a woman that you are not in a full-blown like situation, relationship, engagement, marriage with. Nobody is expecting that. And the fact that you felt as if, you know, we were misunderstanding something just all seems like bullshit to me. You meant what you said when you said it. A lot of y'all don't want women who have kids, even though y'all are in y'all 30s, and that's what the situation is a lot of the times. No, y'all want women who don't have children so that y'all don't have to put forth the effort with somebody else's kid. I really do think that's what it is. And deep down, I think that's how David feels. But whatever, okay? He apologizes to Joy for putting his finger in her face, but she says she's cool. It was just a misunderstanding. Alicia says that David has even been to her house. They have definitely talked and, you know, had their kumbaya moments. And child, I was like, did he come to your house before or after you got impregnated? Never mind. David and Alex are now talking. They actually tried to date, not tried to date, but they had been chilling and kicking it and stuff like that. And he was like, you know, I would really like to take this opportunity to ask you, you know, if you are interested because I'm interested. And she was like, yeah, we can go on a few dates. So it seems as if David and Alex are actually going to, you know, date each other and see what it's hitting for. Good for them. So Winter and Anthony, what happened with them? Child, I don't know what he had on. But either way, they talk about how after the show they were dating and they got into an argument where he raised up on her, probably a lot of screaming and hollering. And for her, that was a red flag. So since then, she has backed away from the relationship. That argument was over finances. I don't know what the specifics were. I would like to know what the specifics were. But, you know, something about Anthony always made me feel like he wasn't really ready. And he was also kind of hiding who he really was with his jokes, with him being personable. I think he has learned how to turn it on for people, but that may not be who he really is. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely wasn't surprised by this. But they have begun talking once again. So maybe they'll try to make it work. But he definitely turned her off. I feel like there's more to the conversation because he was like, yeah, I understand, you know, why she felt that way. And I think that some people felt like, you know, I wouldn't just throw a man away for yelling at me or getting into an argument. But I feel like it was something else. Honestly, I feel like it's something that she saw that just made her feel like, nah, this ain't it. But they didn't go into great detail. But either way, not surprised. So Joy talks about, you know, basically being caught between Edwin and Jay and how Edwin was more romantic and more intentional, more in tune to her, in all honesty. It seemed as if Jay was coming from a superficial place. I don't know whether it was because of the physicality or because of the position it gave him on the show, because everybody wanted Joy. So Joy, you know, picking him as one of her top definitely, I guess, you know, put him as top dog to finish the show. And that's when we get into Winter saying that her connection with Jay seemed more behind the scenes. And that's when they showed us all of that video and everything. Winter said that they were connecting, but he definitely played it off in front of everybody else like it wasn't that. So she held his feet to the fire during a reunion show because it's like, you know, you really were fronting, making everybody think you were this great guy. But the truth of the matter is you was actually rolling like player in this bitch. So from here, okay, we move on, all right? Because now we have a clearer understanding that a lot of the women do not see it for Jay in the same way that they did when they left, okay? Winter and Simone definitely have some negative feelings towards Jay. But we talk about how Jay and Edwin left the competition because of Joy and her sister passing away and her leaving. That made them feel like they didn't need to be there anymore. Joy says that Jay being there and being supportive, of her during that time really meant a lot, and it was a big thing. And we see this clip of Denise giving this message to the group about how, all the men should find love and how she really connected with Jay. Y'all remember just this long ass message that she gave. And it seemed a lot. Like, it seemed like something that she didn't have a lot of time to say. In the moment, I felt like Denise was lying, but I didn't want to say anything because it's like, how would I have known that? But I felt like the tone to which she was speaking was not genuine. And that's because it wasn't about Joy. It was about her. You know what I'm saying? She had to make that moment about her and take some of the sympathy and slither it on herself because she was falling off in the house, as far as I'm concerned. And that's sad. That's really, really sad that she felt the need to do that. But Denise, what were you thinking? Like, when does your common sense come in? Like, when does your common sense for how you should handle yourself on this show come in? I have tried to make excuses for you. I've tried to give you the benefit of the doubt, good sis. I have. Because I often feel like they try to portray women a certain way on these shows. So I feel like I have constantly given you the benefit of the doubt. But you getting in front of that group of people to lie as if that girl gave you some message, as if you and that girl had some relationship that y'all didn't have just so you can steal some of the spotlight, bitch, that is pathetic. That is pathetic and trifling. And honestly, I feel like they're going to let you off a lot easier than they should, because you were really trying to take the attention away from this woman whose sister just died and made it about you. Like, that shit is so pathetic. I don't even know what other word that could describe it but pathetic. Get your life together, Denise. You really should be ashamed of yourself, girl. Like, to tell you the truth, you should be ashamed of yourself. And you could tell that you felt ashamed of yourself because there were a few screenshots where you looked like you were ashamed of yourself, and you should have been. You make a fool of you. Okay? Made a fool of your damn self, girl. Hopefully part 2 will get, deeper into things. It'll be a little bit more interesting. This first part was okay. But yeah. Can't wait for us to get to this second part and see what else is in store for the Ready to Love cast, because it seems that a lot of things have not been put on the actual show. So next time y'all come back, y'all need to refigure this. Reality TV as a whole needs to stop overproducing, which means if the shit happened, let it rock. Figure out a way to put it out there instead of editing a show and producing a show to fit your narrative that isn't necessarily the truth of what's happening. Stop doing that, because I feel like that's what y'all did with Ready to Love. Y'all wanted certain people to come out as, the ideal couples and shit like that. And it fell flat anyway, because a lot of us felt like those relationships weren't genuine. A lot of us felt like that. And when we come to the reunion and find out that most of y'all are probably not together, then we know we were right. So there's no reason to fake the funk during the season, trying to make it seem like it's going to be like a happily ever after, when we know that that's not what's happening. So please do better next time. But Denise, girl, ain't no amount of producing or editing that made you look as bad as you made yourself look. So disappointing. Anyway, you guys, I hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Love y'all. See y'all in the next one.